Obviously, needless to say, unbelievable college basketball game. I've been in a few overtime games in my day. That was as good as it gets. I'm really proud of our guys, how they hung in there, overcame some tough calls, and never wavered. And I'm one Modelo in, so let's go.
Jamie Vinnick, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, again, just kind of a quiet game for Noah. Just 44. Just talk about it for just what he did again today.
He was not wanting to lose. He's a really good competitor. He's probably got the best belief of anyone I've ever coached. He has great self-esteem, great confidence. There's a few more gray hairs watching a couple shots, but he was really he's willful. And the last one that descended to overtime, I thought he was going to wait too long. They're going to be able to foul him. I said, just pull it before you. And then he made it. And I'm not sure if he didn't get fouled on that.
He did.
Wow, that would have been a nice little 4-point play to win that. But
he wouldn't have gotten to 40.
Yeah, he wouldn't have got to 40. 3 more overtimes. But anyway, yeah, he was terrific. I think they were really good defensively, and they're hard to break down. But we got our 40 casts at the rim from 3, which you're gonna have to make some. We made just enough.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit. I mean, there are people who think that Wills and Davis is about as good of a defensive backcourt as there maybe is in college basketball. And, to get 40, not just to get 40, but to do it against guys like that. I mean, what does that say to where Noah has really come from, a guy that hit 4 threes last year to a guy now who had 72 points in 2 games?
I think he averaged 13 a game in high school, honestly. I don't know if he scored much more than that. I think he's glad he picked basketball and quit goofing around with football. But and if you would have told me, I just wouldn't have. God bless him, because I would have thought he's going to be, candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. He'd be a stat sheet stuffer, and he could get 20 if he had 4 offensive boards, got to the foul line. But he's really grown and developed, and like I said, he really believes, and is a good one to have on your team.
Talk about Andre a little bit. It seemed he was playing a lot of point guard today. I know you said before the season you saw him as kind of that point forward per se. How much has he kind of come along in the sense that you can really have him handle the ball and kind of run the point? 18 assists now in 2 games.
That's great. The last 2 games, we said that at the shoot around or practice. I said, let's put the ball in Andre's hands more, because we're just limited on ball handling as it was. And, maybe we broke through. I told him in front of the team, usually I said, might have broke through with the 9 assists last game and get more comfortable out there. And the biggest one was the behind the back drop to F.A., and F.A. made the 3 to take it 4-7, I think, in the 3rd overtime. So, he's starting to come out of his shell. Us and Jazz helps too. We're able to spread the floor a little more when he's playing forward, and he did an awesome job on Oscar tonight, and just great effort.
You said earlier in the week, I think in the press conference, that you had to do better on Oscar. He had, I think, 27 against you guys. And obviously he's an incredible player, held him to 4 field goals. Obviously, I assume that's kind of an effort, a team effort. But how do you think F.A. and Deshaun really did against him?
Terrific. I mean, we're down 8, and I felt like it was slipping away. I don't know, maybe 10 minutes ago, 12 minutes ago. And I said, well, we're just going to go big. And because you got to have ball handling. We didn't really handle the ball, but it's going to be tough with Deshaun and F.A., and we're kind of platooning them. And then I said, let's go big ball, do what we do. And they were great. And we're able to bring some help and some length around the rim. And then Jazz had them a lot, made it hard to get catches. And doggone, the one play they call, they have a really good play. They run a double away for they move it around a little bit and they get a double away for Jones. You get worried about that, and they sucked the weak side help out there, and they lobbed it to De Silva twice. They drew a foul and they got a layup. And if we would have been on that, we would have done a much better job. But Deshaun's so big and long, he did a good job. And when F.A. had him in Jazz, it takes a full team effort there.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Congrats on the win. Enjoy the rest of the Modelos.
No worries.
Theo Lawson, go ahead.
Hey, Kyle, obviously you guys still have a lot to accomplish in 3 games left, but you guys just secured the first winning season at Washington State since 2010, 2011. I know when you took the job, you probably heard a lot about how tough it is to win at Washington State and impossible to win in Pullman. What does that milestone mean to you to have a winning season and still be able to build on that now?
You know what? Every coach, at least in our coaching circle, we go with the 1, 10, and this year it's 14 was a magic number, and then it's 20 and 25, and God forbid if you ever get to 30, it's time to retire. But that's you got to get your first one, you got to get to double figures, and then you got to get to the winning season. So that was nice, and every year it's like that, and really proud because we had everyone's had to battle things. We've had a couple COVID protocol things and had an 8 out of 10 on the road, and got swept at home by Utah and Colorado, and we just keep plugging away and be 7 and 10 in league, and really proud of these guys. I think we're 326th oldest team in Division I, so some things to build on for sure.
Are you pretty happy for Jazz, who I think is the only remaining member of the last regime at Washington State and stuck with you guys, and he was one of the 3 guys you had at the first month or so with the program?
I can't tell you how proud I am of that guy because, end of the year, he wasn't playing well. Tony had passed him, and just like, hey, I don't know if you're going to be able to play here next year, but you do have a great attitude. You work hard, and proud to be a Coug. And I said, you might want to play someplace else where you get more opportunity. And he's like, nope, I'm going to prove to you that I can play here. And awesome. He's not the first one I've ever had that conversation that's proved me wrong. So he's a really good defender. He's a great teammate. He's grown in confidence. Really happy for him. I think last year when he had those 2 free throws in overtime, he missed the first one. I think last year he probably would have missed the second one and beat himself up. He stopped doing that. He'd kind of get down on himself, and he's such a perfectionist and has a high regard for what he's doing, but he'd let that stuff get to him. But he's battled through, and I think all Coug Nation would be really proud of that guy.
You took Noah out of the Cal game with 7 minutes left Thursday, and he played 54 minutes tonight. How fortuitous is that? Taking on those minutes, and
brilliant.
Everyone.
It was brilliant. He was jabbing me, trying to get a triple double or trying to get 43. I mean, that's like just concentrate on winning. We got a big one Saturday, and I'm proud of him. He played 53 minutes. You're going to take some bad shots. He had 9 turnovers, but we needed every point, every opportunity he could get.
FA had missed, I think, 20 straight threes dating back to the Colorado game at home here, and obviously breaks out of the slump in a big way and puts you guys up by, I think, 6 or 7 points. What was it like to see him break out of that, and what does it kind of mean for a guy like that to finally see one go in?
That's awesome because it's almost like no one really talked about. Our staff had a little bit, but I hadn't really addressed it because I thought he's been taking good ones. And be honest, people haven't been running out on him as hard. And I dialed his number to start the second half, hoping he'd make one. I thought they would blitz Noah and he could slip out of there and get a free look, and it didn't happen. He missed him, and then that was just the right play. And I'm glad he had the confidence in himself. I mean, he's still a really good foul shooter. He's a good shooter, and probably it's part of the process. And he never really he kept shooting them. 20 rows hard to miss that many in a row. You think you bank one in or something there, but he's never hesitated, and I want him to be a confident guy, and he'll keep getting better.
Late in the game there, and then also in overtime, Rocco, Bo, and Luke were pretty vocal from the cheering section. Did you hear them at all chirping at the refs or anything like that, or are you so?
No, I didn't hear them honestly, but I'm sure my wife was embarrassed herself. There's no doubt in my mind. She even fessed up to it. She said, she's horrible with the officials. I'm not great, but she's much worse. And she said I was bad today. So I didn't hear her, but I did pump my fist a couple times in the crowd. It was nice to have at least you could see some people in there.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks.
Ryan Root, go ahead.
Hey, Kyle, just one for you here. With a game like this, I had a ton of emotional and intense moments, big calls, big shots. How many games have you had like this that are even remotely close to this in your career, and how does it compare to tonight?
There's one that comes to mind that was maybe more emotional and more trying. So when we were at Columbia, trying to climb the hill, and Harvard was a premier program, and we had on our home floor, we are down 2 maybe? Yeah, down 2. Our guy takes the last shot. He makes it. they called charge, and it was clearly a block, and we ended up losing in double overtime. I think might have been tossed in the second overtime, but there was a crowd, and I just remember being so drained. But this is as good a game or as competitive and as many plays that happened. So I can't think of many more than that. I think we beat Steve Nash when I was at San Diego on same thing, sold out crowd, and didn't know Nash was going to be Nash yet. It sounds better now, but I think we hammered him on the last play of the game. This is before TV and stuff, and we won by 1. And I just remember that. And I actually remember my dad going, "Gosh, you guys should have beat them by more." And I was like, "That guy's pretty good." So I like to remind my dad that's a 2-time MVP that he thought we should have handled.